welcome back to the most professional StarCraft 2, where I'm always going to be excited to introduce the Frenchman from Team Liquid, arguably the #1 Terran player in the world right now. It's Clem. But with no pushover on the other side, the defensive Zerg powerhouse, the reigning GSL champion, the Rocky Zerg. It's Solar, a best of 5 TVZ that I think has more potential than Clem versus Dark. Those are a very different style of Terran versus Zerg. Solar, on the other hand, will put up with your aggression. He'll take a punch, maybe two. He'll get smashed more times than I beg you to like and subscribe. And Jimmy, what are we? 1,240. 8 likes on this video. And I'll cast another series. And maybe by the time we get to that, Solar will finally find an opportunity to counterattack. But hopefully you've had a good day so far. And hopefully it's about to get just a little bit better. As, not to so rudely interrupt myself, but Solar doesn't really... I joke, but somewhat seriously, that he's Cyril's stunt double. As he's rarely quite as meticulous about it. But he does have the same style of just allowing you to kind of wear yourself out, expose weakness, and capitalize on it. He is more than willing, and so many times, it's exhausting to watch. If Cyril is, like, trying to keep up with an intense, like, some sort of proficiency test, watching Solar is like, well, essentially like watching Rocky, but there's not always the happy ending. I'm pretty sure the one I'm referencing doesn't have a happy... Anyways, I've not seen a Zerg player able to produce and lose more units. Maybe Raynor. So what I expect is that very attrition-based style. The big weakness for Clem recently in Terran versus Zerg, I would say, is his vulnerability to counterattacks. We've seen that several times, even since DreamHack Atlanta. As Zerg players have exploited the fact that Clem seems to send everything into the fight. And early game Terran versus Zerg, you're sending out the first Hellions. You're sending out the Reaper, or more Reapers. Only one in this case, but, you know, keep your options open later in the series. Wow, the triple bounce! Oh, baby. Haven't seen a Brenda bounce of that magnitude in quite a bit, but... Clem has a tendency to put everything into the attack, leaving his bases surprisingly vulnerable, which you don't want to risk too many units out on the map as Zerg. You can't just send 30 Zerglings out hoping they don't have a wall off at their third, or hoping they don't have their reinforcements set up in a good spot. But I think at some point against Clem, you have to take those risks. You have to drag his attention away, because if he's going to sit there microing Marines against Banelings, well... I don't think the Banelings are going to survive that engagement. I don't mean in a good way, because Banelings... You know what I meant. Double Evo Chamber already for Solar, as he's deflecting everything. It was a Viking choice out of Clem. So opting to zone out the overload. And in fact, the Viking made it all the way across the map. Liberator headed towards the main. There's already the anti-Liberator Spore Crawler positionings. The Queen's pushing forward, zoning out the Hellion Reaper. So far, Solar's up to 58 drones. And the Queen, well, getting zoned out of the edge of the base. He's gonna take the gold here. But so far, Clem not really able to slow down Solar's progression. He's got the creep pushing out. He's got a 4th base on the way. Only the Hellions and Reapers really getting involved here. Did Clem actually see the gold yet? He did. Not that he... I think that's going to be a big factor. It's not a particular reach. The only potential... Oh my god, another trip. The only major thing sticking out right now is how late, relatively, the lair is for Solar. He's not going to have Baneling speed for quite a while yet. You need the lair done. You need the Baneling nest done. That's also a key point. And Clem is about to have his first 2 medevacs. He's got 1-1. He's already got stim down combat shield on the way. So there's going to be a window to use these first 2 medevacs. Not so much to do critical damage, but to kind of contain the Zerg. As unlikely to be a game-ending amount. Is obviously Clem behind. He has 59 SCVs. He's counting. He's adding more in production. He scans the natural. What does he see? Pretty much everything relevant. The double Evo, the Baneling Nest finishing, the layers pretty much implied. And now Clem moving in. He doesn't have the 1-1, but with the combat shield, this is still a real danger. So Solar does have to take it quite seriously. The Queens will discourage it. Clem not able to get much of them, and it will be driven away for now. But he does force all those Zerglings out. In fact, he didn't actually scan for the creep, so far, Solar has been able to push out his creep relatively far. 1-1 about to complete. Clem will still have an advantage on it, though only by a few seconds. Lair's done. Hydra is done. 2 more hatcheries. Baneling speed. Overlord speed. All about closing the distance. He puts the Hellions into Hellbat mode, does Clem, up to the north side. And here we go. We've got about 7 minutes. Not so much no rush, but just kind of eyeing each other. But now the economies are in full swing. Both these players ready to produce and max out if given the opportunity. But neither of them is willing to let the other do so easily. Liberator finds an opportunity into the main. Banelings are rolling in. Widowmine's in position. And all these factory units getting involved. Another Widowmine hits the Hellbat. 5 drones down to the Liberator in the main, but the Spore Crawler repositions. Queens engaging directly to the Marines. You need some Zerglings out in front, or Clem is going to put a French Revolution together. And centrifugal hooks, aka baneling speed, for those who aren't being needlessly pedantic. Very important upgrade here, especially as the supplies are about even in Clem's. Solar has 92 drones, which is far too many. At least to engage this sort of army. If he gets away with it, that's great. But right now, his army supply is lackluster, and he's really struggling to drive Clem back. There's no counterattack, there's nothing happening on the other side. Clem just sending out more Marines, and more Widowmines, and more medevacs across the map. A single Hydra gets caught and gunned down. And now Clem, of course, knows he's dealing with that. Will he switch into siege tanks, or is he just going to stick with the M&M? I think we all know the answer to that. Oh, another set. Banelings, Widowmines, splash damage across the board. A tsunami of danger is washing across the armies. And Solar holds. He takes the punches. And he holds the line. So far, not too... It's looked very dramatic, but really not too many losses on either side. About 70 Zerglings, 27 Marines, and 2-2 upgrades. So during all of this, both players have been progressing their tech and their economies without much pause. As Solar has made more than enough units off this ridiculous drone count in order to drive Clem's drops back and his smaller attacks, whereas Clem has taken a 4th command center. He's got a Ghost Academy on the way. He's got a Planetary Fortress coming together. Drilling Claws about to finish for the Widowmines. Both sides have not slowed down a bit. I might remind you, StarCraft is played by only a single player at a time. And right now, the micro and macro phases are being put together almost immaculately from both sides. The Drilling Claws is done, but he's trying to drag the Widowmines into the medevacs. It's not going to be enough. Solar defends the main, drives back the drops. And is this the time when Solar strikes back? I don't think so. He's got a Lurker Den. And he just finished up the Hive. I think he wants to consolidate with the Lurkers, with the Adrenal Glands. Drops come back. Drops go out. You can't explain that. But Clem slides in again. The Drilling Claws. He's trying to get the Zerglings on top. The Marines are slurped up. Get away. More Zerglings down. He's up to 120. We're going to keep an eye on that number. I have a feeling that it will get much larger by the end of this. As Solar still. Again, Clem knocking at the door, and Solar continuing to tell him to get off my lawn. Widowmines take a bite. Clem with way more army, well, not way more army supply, but more army supply. And in more efficient units here. The detection, more Overseers are coming in, but the Queens, Brendan, no! Get out of there! Oh no, it's a disaster! Oh, Baneling's gunned down. The Marines don't care. Is there a Widowmine back there? He's cutting all the way back off of the creep. And the Hydraling Bane, but Clem is still maxed out. The Hydras wander into the mine. Ooh, Unceremonious end there, but another drop towards the main base. Wow. And they don't stop coming. The Nidus on the way. Lurker range is about to complete, though no lurkers on the field. Ghosts being kind of casually added into the army. I think at this point, well, ghosts are just a good fighting unit in general. And if you need them, you got the snipes. EMP is not really relevant as of yet. Splits off to deal with the mine. Unburrows the mine. Trying to drag the shots in. Clem. The Ghost actually gets surrounded of all the units there. Doesn't have stim. Maybe next patch. Meanwhile, more Widow Mines finding a connection. Solar actually supply blocked. He's lost so many Overseers. 5 Overseers. Obviously, you don't want to make too many more than maxed out supply, but right now, 7 more Overlords on the way. It's very awkward to be maxed out with 3,000, or supply blocked with 3,000, 2,000 in the bank. Which is a bit of a, no, not a mistake. Though maybe should have a 3rd Evo chamber, but doesn't have +3 melee on the way. We got +1 missile attacks done, which technically applies to the lurkers. Just don't worry, it's a carryover from the fact they're Hydras. I guess the lurker spines are kind of a missile. Moving on. Oh, but the snipes and the lurkers as they come out of the eggs. Literally shot the moment they're born. If not before. A Nidus, though. The first time. The first opportunity. And Clem is maxed out, so we can't deal with the Nidus very easily. Lurkers will pop out. Not, well, that's enough lurkers to be dangerous. And in fact, they're interrupting the ghosts here. The lurkers, the very first counterattack out of Solar, will be a Nidus into the main, but that'll open up an opportunity. Look at the mini-map right now. Solar is streaming over the map. He drags him back. He's weathered the punches. And Clem, well, he's sniping out the lurkers. He still has to find an engagement on Clem's side of the map, but there's no medevacs, there's no Widow Mines, and now there's no Marines and Marauders left over. Solar is overrunning the field. Wow. Finally, the counterattack comes through. Finally, Solar is able to get the damage done, but the ghosts pop out towards the main. There's a single big Gabe is in the main. Hero Marine is fighting a Queen heads up, which is not going to work out, but, you know, we'll probably make a movie about him by the end. So, Clem holds, but Solar's counterattack is devastating. Solar killed more SCVs in that 20-30 second counter than Clem has killed the entire game. Well, Clem hasn't killed any SCVs. Don't be that guy. 10 drones. Workers. Fine. Vehicle planning. Snipes. But... oh, Solar playing at 528 PM. Clem, no slouch at 450, which is actually ridiculous for a Terran. And still, I mean, it's no pushover as a Zerg. Let's not belittle 520 actions per minute here. And you can feel it too, as Solar is keeping up, but only barely. The ghost count, a dozen of them, so damn high. The Nidus on the bridge almost looks like part of I don't know how a Nidus goes onto a bridge. Don't worry about it. Once again, we're not getting all scientifical here. The only numbers we care about are in the supply. And right now, Solar is still maxed out. Gonna deal with the mines. Trying to drag more shots out. +3 infantry armor just now done for Clem. Feels like this game has been going on 30 minutes, but we're only 15 in. It's just they keep wailing on each other. Here comes the Zerg army. A factory under attack. It's going to be forced to be lifted, as will everything else. The Widow Mine don't get the shot off. Another one definitely does. 3 more Vipers in production. Abandoned ship. Abandoned everything. 15 more SCVs down. The factory's burning. Vikings have shown up. There's actually no real way to deal with this. He doesn't have any anti-air with the army. I think all the Hydras are dead. How many lurkers are on the field? There are 9 lurkers. I think they're all in the Nidus worm. Indeed they are. They will pop out. Maybe not the time to pop. I don't love it. Zerglings up through the center. Drags out the Widow Mine. More ghosts coming in. Liberator Siege is up. Oh my god, there was a massive hit in there. And how many Zerglings have died in this fight? Well, the fight isn't over yet, but the answer is 100 in a minute. How many Zerglings have died over? 400 Zerglings. Grab your emotional support, Zerglings. Your brother. Solar. I'm sorry. Wow. Nidus. Well, Solar, the thing here is, and here's the difference between, I want to say, Cyril and everyone else. 0 infestors from Solar. He's trying to get it done with Wings and Banes. Clem, it looked like a moment of weakness, but without the infestors to interrupt the ghosts. He's hoping, he's praying for a fight as opposed to setting one up, it feels like. As Clem now has the ghost army, but here come the banelings. Nidus is used to drag the attention. Clem hasn't really been able to return fire for quite a while. Once Solar finally retook the initiative. And look at the base, he's taking the base of the south of the map. The Liberators are defending the back, middle of the map. EMPs land on the Vipers. More shots coming out. Solar supply block from losing Overseers again. He's lost 17 Overseers. And counting. We're not done. And another ghost gets taken out, but the bio ball, for the most part, is being chased down here. Another snipe. Parasitic bomb onto the medevacs, but the Viper is sniped in turn. Was that a Nidus? I think there was a Nidus in there. My god. Would you guys calm down? They literally can't. Banelings into the rocks! Ah! Check that one off your bingo card. Oh my. Pretty good counter to rocks, but not exactly cost effective. More Widowmons coming through, smacking into the Zerglings. The ghost count grows. A zoning planetary fortress. Meanwhile, Solar, the Hydraslings and Banes, the tide of Solar is coming in. And Clem, he's still maxed out. He still has this army. It's just scattered throughout the map. This is madness. How many? I want to see. 500 Zerglings down. And counting. All right, thankfully we have a tab for it. No way I can count that high by myself. Ghost Cloak is done. Here come the Vipers. Get over here. Yanks out a Liberator. There's more Liberation at hand. Meanwhile, the Ghost will return fire, and you don't really want to be turning or slithering your tails away. Otherwise, the Ghosts can line up their shots, and they'll knock out a bunch more of the Hydras. There are lurkers inside the Nidus. Another Widow mine to the north side took a bite. But Solar is successfully mining from Clem's side of the map. There's been so much going on that Solar has managed to take this part of the map. 27 more banelings on the way, though, and Solar doesn't have the gas. He's spending it all. Every ounce, every drop, every other unit of measurement here is all going into banelings and Hydras and Vipers. And both sides have 333 upgrades and nothing more. +3 plating, by the way, for Clem. Interesting to note. Though definitely paying off here. Another Nidus. I have no idea where that was. Neither does Clem. It looks like it was up to the north side. Oh! Lurker. Well, Liberator's in range. Clem is taking this centralized base here. Do not put the rocks. Do not. Wait, there are rocks there? Who knew? Solar, I feel like, just discovered that too. How many banelings? 46 banelings on the field. Widow mines. Oh my. Oh, we get some more Widow mines. Banelings crashing into everything. A nuclear missile is in production. Full energy Vipers, but they're all stacked up here. The Ghosts. There are 12 Ghosts, 8 Liberators, and also some other bio units. There are Changelings and Solidarity chasing. They're actually kind of helping Clem to zone out, but more banelings are rolling in. The Ghosts are surprisingly tanky versus them. Another base goes down. Blinding Cloud on the Ghost doesn't stop them from lining up their sniper rifles. The Vikings are going to be able to take it out. And another costly fight for Solar. He may have won the battle, but the war. Again, he's supply blocked. He's lost 27 Overseers. Have you considered building a Raven, Solar? Well, supply blocked for building Overseers to deal with Widow Mines. Sounds like Solar suffering from a severe case of being not Cyril right now. As just throwing him into the fray, sure, you might get the damage done, but on the next fight, when you need them again, you just gotta keep rebuilding them. I don't know how many is that? It's 150, 50 for each Overseer. He's spent over, oh my god, he spent over 3,000 minerals on Overseers. I didn't... the Zerglings somehow get into the bag, but Solar keeps building the same units against the same army, and it feels like Clem is solidifying his position. It's not getting any easier to deal with the Ghosts and the Liberators here. But if Clem makes one big mistake, if he takes one bad fight, Solar could still run away with it, as he has so much of the map. Oh my. The Banelings falling back. Solar losing a lot here. The Planetary Fortress has building armor. The Hydras can't stick around. There's 4 SCVs repairing. And on the anvil of the Planetary, Clem brings down the Ghost Hammer and smashes the Hydras and Zerglings in between. Oh no. The game is slowing down. This is not a good sign for Solar. This is the kind of game, as soon as Solar turned it, wow, it's only been 22 minutes. I say only, but we've been fighting for essentially 15 minutes straight. This last battle has claimed tens of thousands of minerals and gas. It's only been 3 minutes. They're just going at it right now. But this is... Solar can't keep this up. He's running out of resources. He finally... Ah, yes. The admission. So, I gotta keep pointing it out. The difference between Cyril and everyone else. Cyril would have had 6 burrowed infestors scattered throughout the map. Every single other Zerg in the world, besides maybe Dark on every other day. Like, okay, God, I'll build infestors. Oh my God. Oh my God, okay, fine. My God. And that feels like the stage we're at. But is it too little? It isn't too late, because he doesn't even have burrow. He gets a fungal. The Ghosts get an EMP. He's gonna try to save the Ghosts, but no, the fungals come through. Parasitic bomb across the Liberator line. But, oh my God, the Venn diagram of freedom there. And it looks like the infestors showed up. They came, they saw, and they conquered. As right now, Solar, with just one bit of infestors, catching Clem off guard. And just like that, Clem's bank is gone. His supply has been obliterated. Even if it wasn't perfect, but it was more than good enough. As Solar, it's so hard to change gears when you've been going that hard for that long. But Solar does it, and I think he may have turned the game back in his favor. God, that's so many. He's lost so many units. But Clem, the ghost count essentially reset. He's lost 33 ghosts this game. Can we see how many in that last fight? He lost 7 in that last fight. All at once. Which, you can feel it right now in how these fights keep going back. The ghosts were what just his fighting units were able to turn it around. Oh God, the ranged liberators. There is no Spire. Clem finally found some space. There's actually... Without a Spire, he can't... He has to use Vipers. Vipers, yeah, that you literally can't mine. Clem able to annex those mineral patches. Ooh, the Banelings rolling! And the Vipers looking for an opportunity. Parasitic Bomb backs off here. Clem loses the Planetary. 4 more infestors on the way. He's seen the light here. The infestors. Solar dripping in supply. Dropping as well, even. The Liberators are ping cushioning drones at the edges of each base. Thankfully for Solar, he's mined out of the vulnerable mineral patches here. EMP on the infestor that burrowed a little bit too late. More infestors trying to go around. Solar. There it is. There it is. That's the infestor. That's the one right there. But he gets a scan on it. He gets a scan on the other ones. The EMP's on the ground. It affects it underneath. The ground won't save you. And now that he knows they're there, another set of Widow Mines doing damage to the Ghosts as well. The backup Planetary holding the line. There's a drop to the north side. Solar once again getting caught on this base. The infestor off the mark. Oh my. An absolute bloodbath. The supplies are dipping on both sides. They just keep going back and forth. It comes down to whether Solar can land the fungal. Neither player really has the income. The times of plenty have ended. He scans the infestors. I don't even know if he has a snipe. Maybe one? That's it? Is it? Let's see. We gotta take stock. You can't mine from here. The Liberator's not blocking that. Solar. At the end of the day, if he can't stop this base, he just lost the one to the north, so Clem can mine from there. And... oh, with the snipes? Oh yeah, the ghosts win that fight on their own. 930 Zerglings. In fact, we'll call it 1,000. The infestors were too little and too late. Oh no. It was trending towards Clem, and a very frustrating game as well for Solar, but oh my god! 60,000! That... there was a series between Clem and Rainer, not too many weeks ago, where they both lost over 4,000 resources per minute. So 80 plus 30. Well, I think we may have just topped it. That may be the most resources lost per minute in a professional game of StarCraft 2 ever. And the reason why this may not be topped by your average Bronze League hero is simply because no one but the best players are able to mine and then proceed to lose enough of those resources. Both of them were running on all cylinders until they had no cylinders left to run on. And Clem, barely. If the infestors had found a little more, or alternatively, if Clem had found a decisive fight, it could have ended at almost any time, but it ended then. And Clem, by that much, takes game number 1. But the series must go on. Because that's how best of 5 works. If it was just one game, that'd be kind of sad. Like the ladder. My god. I apologize for my emotional outburst. As you know, casting should be impartial. It should be measured, prepared. Not sure how it would be that, but like, generally. And games like that, though, kind of run away with it. As that was just... I didn't even check how many Overseers were dead by the end. Solar. I don't think we could have had a better definition of how Solar plays than that. Which is, I will lose everything as long as I take you with me. And hopefully at the end, I'm the one left. Unfortunately for him, Clem matched him there. It was close. Those games usually trend in a certain direction decisively. But the infestors, right when it looked... The infestors, the plot device of Zerg. Right when it looked like Clem was taking an insurmountable advantage, it turned it all around. Almost all the way. Oh, come on, Clem. Okay, come on. Yeah, okay. Okay. What, that... Does he always do that? Not always. Just most of the time. You just gotta ignore it. I never have ignored anything in my life, Fred. Terran, just stop. Just stop. I don't... Reaper into the main. Poking around. Hellion's on the way. It was a Viking into Liberator last time, which is possibly the cheapest in literal resources option. You don't need any... Oh, he wants that grenade. He wants the triple. Just sharking around. You don't need a tech lab on the starport is the key point there. And still have an opportunity to deny scouting and potentially get some drone kills. The Liberator doesn't usually get too much done, but it requires a response. You can't just let the Liberator go. The Banshee, on the other hand, very similar, but also very different. It depends on what the Zerg is doing early. But Banshees might be a late game tool. Clem has kept his Banshees alive for the entire game, 20+ minutes sometimes. Always useful to have, but a much greater investment, especially with that cloaking device on the tech lab. So this time around, Clem wants more options in the early game. Also much better for defense, in case it comes to that. But Solar, 3 hatches, and plenty of drones. No intent on any sort of early aggression here. He's just gonna hold out. Overlord will get a scout. Lair on the way. Barracks number 2 and 3 are coming online. As Clem kind of spins up into that 3 base production, which is usually around 5 barracks, factory, usually with a reactor, though occasionally you'll see a tank push. And then the starport with a reactor. Meanwhile for Zerg, 60, 70 drones. Maybe a 4th base, maybe a macro hatch, maybe both. This time around, Solar has opted for the lair before his evolution chambers, which means he either wants baneling speed as early as possible, and, well, getting the lair earlier also helps with detection against the Banshees. So essentially, you trade out a quicker baneling speed and that detection for a little bit later upgrades. God. Oh... Okay, well, the Queens are fighting it. The Banshees are adding a lot of damage, but an Overseer is just now finished. The Queens are holding them. Get off my Queen! Sorry. The Queens are able to take out both Banshees. A surprising turn of event. Honestly, a bit sloppy out of Clem there. Definitely don't want to be losing those Banshees for free. What a save on the Queen. A transfuse as well, and this time around Solar holding it together, taking essentially no damage. The Hellions may commit into the mineral line. Indeed they do. Get 1 or 2 drones. 2. A scan. Baneling nest. Upgrading baneling speed, and the banelings themselves. Pretty much everything relevant scan there. So, Solar... Clem knows what he's doing, which is exactly what he expected. So Clem doesn't really change up his game plan here because of that. Just kind of confirming and making sure he's going down the right path. And seeing those double upgrades and those banelings morphing, I think, is a key point. Means it's unlikely to be mutas. It's unlikely, obviously not roaches or anything like that. It's just going to be the Massling Bane yet again. It's going to be up to Clem to deal with it. Clem will have a significant upgrade advantage. It's going to be almost a minute here, especially if he continues it into 2-2. Does he have the armory done? Indeed he does. Can start those 2-2 upgrades momentarily, but the Marines are working their way up. Queen's kind of getting in the way of things. And slurps up the Marines into the medevacs. Gets away. Yeah, 2-2 has begun for Clem. Not quite as quickly as it could have been. We'll see if Solar starts his 2-2 on time. He doesn't really have the gas in the bank right now, so he's also going to be a little slow. Queen still holding. Yeah, a bit optimistic to drop the watchtower there, but another attack over to the right side. Widow Mines will burrow. More Widow Mines up towards the front. And the Marines are stimming forth. The upgrades are even right now. Widow Mine actually unburrowed before it can trigger on a single Overlord. So we're trying to drag out more shots. Actually deals with the mines. There's still one more on the back line. Drags out a shot. Terrible damage on both sides. Good micro, but on the left flank. Clem comes in with another round. The Queens are forced to stand their ground. Goes straight for the medevacs, but... Spore Crawler. Right at the edge of the creep. Unfortunately, not creeping the entire main. Clem stutter steps back, targets down some Banes, picks up and gets out. Again, Solar on defense. Will he be able to counterattack at any point? Clem just now... Has he finished that base? Yes, he's making a planetary at his 4th. He's kept the pressure on. Solar still holding strong. He's got full 4 base economy, 88 workers. Zerglings on the chase. How many Zerglings on the field? 69. A nice number to start with. Hive just now starting. Clem. Some badly bruised medevacs. And Solar, without the, if he wants to wait till Hive Tech, well, he's maxed out, starting to bank money. Still no attempt at all at a counterattack. Really, it's partially Clem, just keeping so much pressure on at all times. Medevacs. Widow mines. Oh, a bunch of mines getting caught here, though. Pretty big mistake out of Clem, losing half a dozen mines right off the bat. Overs here. Banelings rolling in. But the counterattack! Clem sent everything across the map, leaving his 3rd base vulnerable. He's going into something of a base trade here. He's gonna kill a bunch of drones, probably get the base down the center. But Clem has less bases to retreat to. And this gets a lot harder for the Terran players. They have to micro on multiple fronts, including their home. But the Marines will stutter step back. They take out all the Banes. The Queens are next, but another wave rolls in, and the second one he wasn't ready for. Clem loses a critical mass of his bio on the other side of the map, while Solar... Actually, Clem still has a lot of SC... Oh, no. Full medevac Marines is taken out, but there's more than one over to the right flank. The supplies are still insanely high for how much of a trade we just had. Solar is maxed out. Clem is close to it. 85 to 76 workers. Both of them able to maintain most of their worker count. So that means this will continue again and again until this is this. Is he going to dodge it? Oh my god. Come on, guys. Just stop. The little bit of micro between the Widow Mine and the drone there, as he was waiting to make it into a spore to dodge the shot. Meanwhile, Lurker Den finally getting some more upgrades. Widow Mines will burrow up to the north side. I heard Widow Mines burrow. Looks like they were cleaned up. There's some more. There's always more mines. Another drop. Adrenal glands, halfway done. More Zerglings on the way. That counterattack from Solar doesn't really seem to have affected the course of the game very much at all. I guess it kept Clem off his back for a while, but... Oh, parasitic bomb. Get over here! And the Viper drags it out, trying to drag in the Widow Mines. Oh, ends up getting a little more than he bargained for. The medevacs are gone, and now the Marines and Marauders are quite vulnerable, but Clem is still maxed out. Another Liberator. There's still medevacs off to the top right. I don't know what's up in that corner either. Another medevac just going to be sent home. Maybe to be actually repaired, which is like seeing a unicorn. Infantry weapons level 3. Solar pretty far behind on the upgrades. Widowmine smacks into the Zerglings. They're already rebuilt by the time they finish fading into the ground. Missile attacks, level 1 is complete now. Banelings rolling into the north. Gets a full medevac of Marines out. But I don't know if there's actual airspace there that he can protect himself from the Hydras. I think that medevac went down. It's unclear. Clem now down. Yep, it went down. Solar had some more rally just in case. But Solar now building quite a bank. No infestors, but has enough for a potentially deadly amount of lurkers. I think he's holding off until he sees an opportunity. As with ghosts on the field, lurkers are potentially more of a liability than a helpful part of the composition. We don't mind. Solar not paying attention. Gonna eat a few drone kills, but looking to do some damage in turn. Hydras over to the right flank. Another attack over to the left. Clem will hold both. Tries to light up a snipe on the Hydras. Some SCVs getting dragged into the action. They didn't ask for this. Called up to fight. Solar. Still, though, keeping the momentum up. He shifted it onto Clem now. The Widowmine's taking a big bite out of the Zerglings, but the Banelings are rolling into the Marines, and Clem is driven back to his ramp. But enough damage is done that Solar feels obligated to pull back. Burrow is on the way. Maybe thinking about some Burrow Bane. Solar has some drones in his control group as well. Both players just boxing units and going with everything they have. Are there those late game upgrades? He doesn't have high-sec auto-tracking. He doesn't have building armor. Clem, just everything into units. The crazy part is they're both perpetually maxed out, but without much money in the bank. So they're just right on the edge of losing units as they can build them. More Banelings rolling in. A lot hit by a Widowmine. Drives away the base yet again. Is there a Nidus? Well, that sounds like a Nidus. Into the main. And Clem doesn't really have anything there to defend. What? Are there lurkers? At the very back of the main. How many ghosts on the field? Only 9 of them. And some of them caught at the front. Make that 8. Parasitic bomb. Forced to quarantine the medevacs. And the orbital command is in trouble as well. The lurkers. There's not enough ghosts to deal with this. The lurkers are well entrenched and has to dunk down the lurkers again. The Liberator will force a response. Loses 1. Scans on top of everything. Does he have enough orbitals to deal with it? I assume so. Yeah, 6 orbitals should be enough. Snipes out another lurker. But this is wasting valuable time. Clem is down to 163 supply. Hydras knocked down the orbital command. Another medevac caught in the crossfire. And Solar is grinding away. The Nidus is finally taken out, but the main base is literally burning. The Infestor. A single Infestor. Snipes coming up. As Clem is bouncing back in supply yet again. But Solar has his entire side of the map, and you can feel the momentum shift. Oh, but the Zerglings, Widowmine still doing a good job. The last bulwark of Clem here. This planetary fortress is everything. The SCVs are pulled to defend. EMP, Marauder splits away. Banelings roll it onto the SCVs. Crash into the planetary. 15 SCVs taken down with that critical base on the center line. And now, Clem doesn't really have the economy. He's down to 1.5 mining bases. Less than that. As Solar has everything. The income. Oh my god, a Zergling is burrowed. And Wallet was dead even for so damn long. At the end of the day, Solar still is mining from every base on his side of the map that has minerals left, which is, I think, all of them actually, even the main. A Nidus, the one thing the Liberator can't hit, and a single Infestor. Does he need it? At this point, probably not. But could it bring this game to a conclusion? I think so. And there's the fungal. And Clem GG's before the Banelings can land. And this time around, Solar is able to lay down the killing blow. Just barely in time. And we're all tied up. Wow. Solar just rolls with the punches until he could strike back. And this time around, the Nidus did the damage. Game 1, it just didn't keep Clem busy enough. But you could feel Clem get dragged back by the Nidus, and he never regained the momentum. Oh, and now, the most Solar-favored map in the entire map pool, specifically. Solar is. Game 3. Solaris. All tied up. in the most action-packed, excruciating, bloodthirsty, brutal exchange. Exhausting to watch. Exhausting to keep up with. But entertaining, I think, as well. This is also one of our largest maps. It is a difficult... honestly, Hard Lead is usually a great map. What are we staring at here? I have no idea what they're doing. Alright, that's not on me. Usually the larger the map, the overall better it is for Zerg. There are definitely exceptions to that rule, but Hard Lead has historically been quite a Terran-centric map. Whereas Solaris is definitely where the Zerg can fan out and potentially crush. Of course, when you get to the Supreme late game, when you have these unit compositions that are all about cost efficiency, the size of the map doesn't necessarily matter. But also, the larger the map, the more burrowed infestors are likely to sneak around. Only one in that previous game. But that one was definitely the game ender. If it was a closer game by that point, the infestor definitely would have tilted it. But in this case, well, Clem, fast in everything he does, including leaving the game before Banelings can land. He knew where he was. Did he just kill a drone? No, it's a Zerg. Okay. Look away for a split second, you don't know. Solar hid his drone at the third base, by the way. Is this a no, not a gasless build, but a quick third means delaying some of the queens, but he hid the drone so that way the Reaper or even an SCV wouldn't necessarily be able to scout it. Oh my god! Snipes the creep tumor and splits the difference on the queens. Clem, I don't think too tilted by that. Queens, politely yet firmly, will be asking the Reaper. Oh my god. So, the early game is usually defined by how much the Terran wants to commit. Clem, that last game, losing those two Banshees, I think had reverberating effects. It wasn't immediately obvious. Oh, come on. Hey, those grenades just don't have a real impact, but the emotional impact is... wow, is he gonna die? Well... Yeah... A Hellion might be able to get... Well... We'll finish off killing... Takes 3 hits to kill a drone, though, so... Certainly annoying. It's gonna be Cloaked Banshees again. The Overlord will see it. And you could have a lair on the way as well. That's a pretty quick... This is Solar's, clearly his response to the Banshees with that quicker Overseer. I think it did catch Clem off guard. We'll see. Keeping the Banshees alive is much more important than maybe killing a queen or two. As valuable as those queens are, there are plenty of them. Don't tell him I said that. But overall, almost an identical production to the previous game. All we need are those 2 Evo Chambers, Solar. Why do you have 700 minerals, Solar? Because he's going to get a third base and 2 Evo Chambers. And 2 Evo Chambers. Thank you. Third hatch. The Queen should be able to, yeah. And here are the Banshees. Overseers on the way. Clem, 56 SCVs during this as well. So both players continue to progress. That has been the kind of the definition of this series, is micro and macro all the time. Both players have gone for incredibly greedy, incredibly macro-oriented builds. Builds that are not at all focused on ending the game early, but instead getting an advantage later. Oh, Solar took down the rocks on that, right? But at the same time, continually sending units at each other throughout the entire mid-game while continuing to tech up. Which is immensely difficult to do with just one attack and one defense. But with 2, 3... He lost a Banshee. Well, that could have gone better. We spoke about this, Clem. At least it was only one this time, I guess. Improvement. Other one comes home. Not very happy. But it did come home. Watch that complete. So what do we have here? Is this a Hellbat tank push? Well, I guess this is a bit more early game focused. Huh. Where's the combat shield club? 1-1 is finishing. Okay. The Wings and Banes are coming around. Solar made so many. That siege tank finding good target fire, but yeah, the Marines have to pick up. I'll expect some of us in the wreckage, brothers, as he abandons all the mech units in order to get his Marines into the main. But the Spore Crawler off of creep will take down one of the medevacs. Another one moving into position. Another Overseer. Overseers have been the unsung losers of this entire series. I think Solar has lost more Overseers in this series so far than the entire Bronze League this season. It's like 50 plus. It is an impressive. It's only been 2 games. Medevac. Masking mostly for the attack to the north. Goes straight onto the creep. Widowmines will scatter and burrow. And, well, that will significantly Clem with the counter micro. The prairie dogging. Widowmines try to drag him into the army. The Overseers will deal with it. Clem forced back, has to pick up. Some of the Marines don't make it into the dropships. Ooh, that's a rough one. But the Banshee cloaks. And the tank is behind the wall. And that is a well-entrenched defensive position here for Clem. A lurker den and a hive on the way. It feels like we are destined to play a very similar game out, possibly every game in this series. The details may be different, but the timing and the general demeanor of the game at around this 9-10 minute mark is very similar yet again. With a hive on the way for Solar, Clem putting as much pressure on as he can, but still working his way towards that late game army composition. A 4th base, upgrades, etc., etc. This time around, I think Solar will have a quicker hive in relation to that. But Clem is, of course, maxed out. Widowmines smack it into both armies. They don't discriminate, except against Widowmines, which is, you know, remarkably convenient. Clem heads towards the main. A single brave Spore Crawler will discourage an entire fleet of medevacs. And Solar already had some units ready to box out to the north side. The medevacs are kind of cornered here on the beaches. The Hydras, some of them dragged back. Solar doing a great job partitioning his units to preemptively defend. Got the Overseer. Another wraparound. Uses the speeds of the medevacs. A bit late on the draw, but he gets into the main. And the Marines will unload. 2-2 is about to complete for Solar, but this many Marines, you require Banelers. Will he don't do it. Oh my god, he does it! And he takes out the Banes! And is there a match for these Marines? The Hydras are trying to target down the medevacs, but Clem targets the Hydras in turn, which means he will be able to get out. A bit sloppy at the end, but pretty good trade for Clem overall. But a hectic battle. 122 Zerglings. Clem also killed a bunch of his Marines. They're trading, but Solar is just grabbing them out. Clem, not so shabby himself, clearly adding more and more bases. Ghosts are in production. Queens chased and gunned down. And another set of drops is taken out. Widowmine still doing terrible, terrible damage here. Solar, he's got lurker range. Done. I said that like some weird kind of twist, but no, he doesn't have any lurkers, so not particularly relevant yet. We've seen the lurkers used in the Nidus to completely shift the momentum of the game. Both games thus far. There's the Nidus. Clem keeps the aggression up. And armies on both sides yet again. Clem coming in from the south side, even as he goes, Widowmine. And one particularly bad fight from Solar could mean multiple hatcheries going down. And that's, this is one of those games that is not decided in one fight, but can definitely turn a certain direction. The Nidus is nearly done. The sensor towers actually pretty much cover everything here. That planetary, is he making more planetaries? Not quite yet. He's thinking about it. And how many orbitals is that going to be? 5 orbitals. Not the ridiculous permanent map hack via scan numbers, but getting there for Clem. Oh, an army actually unchallenged to the north. Sniping Overlord. Solar's supply blocked again. At least it wasn't Overseers, I guess. They are more costly and provide the same amount of supply. The medevacs will head past the crashed Protoss mothership, which is the most accurate representation of a mothership we've ever seen. Back to the main base. Oh, but the parasitic bombs! The ships will go down in the air! A couple of them survived. The Banshee survived all this time, only to be thrown kind of casually into the Hydras. Both sides maxed out, but it still feels so... They just do not stop. The planetary fortress. It doesn't have armor. It will be taken out, but only Hydra's left over here. God. Will we see the obligatory infester? Clem now getting 3-3. Wow, it's taking quite a while for him to get there. Solar now working on +3 melee, +2 ranged attack. Finished Carapace a while ago. But 3-3 about to finish for Clem. About as efficient as he's ever going to get. Sacrifices a few Marines. The Widowmine does not manage to fire. Another one on the ramp, though, helping out. Solar crashing through. He kills 10 SCVs. Nidus inside the natural. He's trying to break this open right now. Clem down to 165 supply. Starting to lose some of his economy. Is there a response to the Nidus? A single ghost. Are there any lurkers? No. The Nidus just for distraction, and he is looking away. He loses an orbital. The Nidus is just there for dramatic effect. And dramatic indeed, as Clem was pulled off the map. Solar takes out a base on the right. Solar takes out a base down the center. And Solar is expanding to the north. Clem, his bank is dwindling. His mining bases as well. Zerglings on top of another one. Orbital burning overhead. And Clem is losing his grip. A Widowmine takes another few dozen Zerglings. But it is going to take more than that to stop Solar's momentum. The Hydras make their way to the north. Melee attacks level 3 about to complete. Yanks another tank into the fray. And Overseer will survive long enough to take out some very important Widowmines. Clem maintains the base for now, but Solar is expanding inexorably across the map. The creep is nearly at his doorstep, which is an impressive feat on a map of this size. And Solar has retaken the momentum. I'm not sure where it shifted, but it's clearly him in the driver's seat. Banelings crash into the mines. Liberator. Zerglings into the third. And Clem, he's trying to fight this war of attrition, and he's losing right now. The Liberators, he's underneath, yanks him out of siege mode to be taken out by the Hydras. Banelings crashing into the SCVs. Clem retreats to his last planetary, and the mineral line itself is vulnerable. Has to cloak the ghosts. Overseer overhead, 48 SCVs down, and Clem's income is non-existent. Solar again tilts everything in his direction, and with it, yes, some return fire. There's so many medevacs out there. There's a dozen of them. 2 infestors on the way to finish the job. Clem is not dead, as he has 97 army supply, but Solar has done the damage. Clem is bleeding out right now, and if he doesn't stop it somehow, I'm not sure how. He's got a lot of medevacs, but they gotta heal better than this. Another Nidus. Just something to keep him busy. I think the Nidus, with nothing in it, was when Solar was really able to take advantage. This game has been so close that just that little bit of a distraction made all the difference. EMP is trying to make their way through. But this time around, that one infestor. Yeah, Clem has the army. Like, if Solar had no income in just this army, and he doesn't have a bank, so if somehow, I think a Widow Mine drop was attempted and found some damage, but there are orbitals on the field. He accidentally burrows the Hydras there. Clem, that's just so much. Oh, infestor from the back! That's the Hydra count is so damn high, but the Marines are standing their ground. Down goes the command center. The Marines are able to gun down the Banes, the Hydras. The infestors are right underneath, though. He knows what he needs, and right now he just needs to pin down this army one more time. The Viper is taken out, but the infestor at the back, he throws out the fungal, and the Overseer, well, it's taken out. Oh my god, the ghosts are just firing point blank, but it's too much. Solar crashes through in another absolutely brutal game. He loses 500 Zerglings. He loses 10 Overseers. 45 Hydralists. But he wins the war. And that puts Solar up a incredibly and viciously hard fought 2-1. All right, Jim, let's just... And that's all I have to say about that. Game 4. Yes, 4. We're not even necessarily done. Side Delta. Clem is going to break out the Reapers for the first time. Well, more than one for the first time this series. He's on the correct side of the map. The add-ons are not exposed. The Overlord won't see it until it's already on the way. There's really no additional response to this that you can make past, like, just acknowledging it. Did Zergling speed, maybe get some extra Zerglings, but it's just important to acknowledge, as 3 Reapers are immensely more dangerous than 1. And 1 is already, well, a severe threat to every Zerg's mental health. I wonder if either player took a break at any point. Because there are two types of players. I think Oliveira in the IEM Katowice 2023, taking a strategic break after Raynor went up 2-0, and then Oliveira turning it around. He didn't even need a break, technically. He's like, I need a bathroom break, and kind of froze the kicker on that. Clem does seem to be one of those players who definitely can get tilted. That's been his issue in the past, is he just can't adjust. He's always going at 120%, and sometimes in the wrong direction. These games. Yes, this crazy. Oh my god, that was a literally pixel perfect grenade. Oh my god. Okay, that was pixel more perfect. Oh my god. I'm trying to have a whole like meta conversation, and Clem's over here. Essentially, he's doing interpretive dance and like a that. Anyways, what was I saying? These games, there's nothing you can point to, I think, that you can be like, well, why didn't he do that? You always have the people like, why didn't you just build a Raven against the 48 Hydras and 20 Vipers? Like, stuff like that. But it all comes down to just any one of 40 fights, maybe 50, if they had gone decisively instead of relatively close. But they're so evenly matched that they fight 50 times, and only by the 50th fight. I gotta stop saying that over and over. It's getting grating. Do we really have a decision? And the only reason is because they start running out of money. If we had infinite money bases, I do truly wonder, well, clearly the game would change dramatically. I think at that point, like 30 barracks plays would be the go-to. You can only have so much income, but like infinite money. As in, like, your main base never mines out. I think we'd just see the same thing, but with even more dead Zerglings and more dead Marines. Because the key is not so much how strong they are and how cheap they are. It's just how mobile these units are. You can't move around Ghosts or Liberators at the speed you can move around Marines and Mines. Same goes for Lurkers and Vipers versus Hydraling Bane. Hey, we need some big game hunters. All right. One of those things that sounds great in theory, and then you immediately see in practice and realize why we don't play big game hunters in professional play. It seems, well, this time around, it's going to be a much quicker follow-up with the medevacs. As Clem opted for that 2 rags play, which means he has much quicker stim, and then combat shield to follow it up, but not as much tech. So he doesn't have as many Hellions, he doesn't have the Banshees, just went straight into medevacs. And Solar actually, the Zerglings are coming back. He had an Overlord in position. Well, these Marines are quite dangerous. He doesn't have any Banelings. Here they come. But that is a costly exchange. Actually, Solar doesn't have anything here. Oh, wow. That could have been a devastating run-by. There was nothing protecting those drones, but I think Clem was watching his medevacs as well. Yeah, it looks like he dropped out the Marines at the same time. Oh, my God. Hydra is down on the way. There we go again. This time around, I think Clem's done a bit more damage early. We'll see how that factors in. As Clem has kept the creep under control. He has limited the drone count. He's got this Widowmine, which will take out 4 Banelings. And also, well, so that was like the earliest counterattack we've seen the entire series out of Solar. He's so true to form. The half-hearted attempt at a Baneling run-by is shut down, and now we're going to be playing defense for quite a while yet. Clem is already done with 1-1, but he didn't have the armory quite in time to start the +2 upgrades. Widowmines will reburrow. Don't quite find another shot. 1-1 now done for Solar, who will actually start +2 Carapace. Quicker than Clem. Oh no, the queens! Several queens gunned down. Another one slammed by the Widowmine. The Frenchman. Removing the monarchy. And it looks like we took a break, but not the kind we'd like. But we do it live. We do it live here from replay. But it appears there was a technical issue. But unfortunately... Oh, it seems like the observer of the game actually had a breakdown there. Alright, said, no, this is too much. I need a break. Disconnected their Ethernet cable. I'm sure that's exactly what happened. Now, well, an inopportune time, unfortunately, as Solar a little bit off balance. And the Hydras in the main base contesting the Marines, but the Marines are definitely out DPSing the Hydras here. Clem now up 30 supply. He's maintaining the momentum. The creep spread is almost entirely gone. Gunning down more and more Banes, several underneath, loses a few extra Marines, but Solar's still at 80 drones. Clem at 80 workers himself, but he's got a lot more army supply on the field. The only thing Solar really has going for him is the upgrades. He's going to have something of an upgrade advantage, especially since Clem only started +2 ranged attack. Ah. 2-2 now on the way. Hive just started for Solar, a bit later in the grand scheme of things. Oh my god, you gotta have those banelings in front, otherwise Clem has too much opportunity to gun them down. Some banelings getting close here. Meanwhile, another attack up towards the north side. Going to attempt to deal with it. Oh, the Queen's eating a lot of hits. Gonna be forced to transfuse, but look at the attack on both sides here from Clem. He's hitting both flanks. If he can hold, of course he runs the risk of losing both armies at once, and there go a bunch of Marines. Changelings trying to convince him that he had more than he thought he did, but... Lurker Den now on the way, but Solar definitely further off balance than the previous games. Clem keeping the pressure on. The creep spread, I think, is indicative of it, as the creep spread barely outside of the attack path of both these bases. Clem keeps the seesaw going back and forth, picks up. The Widowmines do a lot of damage, but reinforcements have arrived, and the Marines are stepping to the front. Solar is down 50 supply, and Clem now has 2-1 done, which means for at least a few moments the upgrades are even. So we're about to finish +2 melee attack, which is relevant if any units get into melee range, which currently is a real struggle. Ghosts are now on the way. Clem taking that base to the top right. He's actually got 5 bases, going on 6. Solar is pinned to 4. He needs that Hive Tech to be able to be cost efficient enough to break out of this Terran containment of high velocity bullets. Oh my god. The pressure is on right now. Lurkers in production. Clem trying to break through. Banelings crashing in. Widowmine's point blank range. Actually get a connection. The Lurkers still aren't done. Another Baneling comes through. Hydras all taking a lot of damage. Trying to morph the Hydras that are badly bruised. They come out of the Lurker egg at full HP. And indeed, Clem is going to be forced back as Solar again holds. But at what cost? The creep spread in the center had spread out pretty far because Clem hasn't attacked down that angle yet. But as soon as he does, he gets the scan off, starts to clear the creep. Widowmines are recharging here. In fact, one of them is on the drones. Solar, though, is making his way up in supply. Both sides suffering from a lack of detection. Solar moves a spore into position. The parasitic bombs across the medevacs, doing a lot of damage here. Gonna take out another medevac. He tries to quarantine them, but they're desperately trying to heal as well. They're working against themselves. and Clem is out of energy and almost out of health on those medevacs. He actually has to pull back, and somehow Solar has defended. Clem coming in again. The snipes taking out more queens. The medevac knocked into the water. Solar still holding on, but the queens are suffering for it. The creep is nearly gone. I'm sure Clem is thinking, why won't you die? As the Marines and the Marauders and the Mines, they keep coming in. There's a Nidus at the back corner. And, oh no, Clem is maxed out. Which means he barely has any units reinforcing. Oh, and the Widow Mines! Solar, again, the Nidus! He looks away, and it's at that moment Solar jumps the army, and the Widow Mines will obliterate the medevacs. I don't even know, there's even, not even the game knows what happened. There's some weird icon there I've never seen. That's obviously a placeholder for something. Meanwhile, Clem took out 3 medevacs, Solar took out 3. We'll call it even. But Solar once again picked his timing absolutely pinpoint perfectly. And he makes his way back to dead even supply. 190 apiece. I don't know how he does it, but he survives yet again. So, the first step to winning the game is not losing. And I think I can say after all of this, Solar has succeeded in that. Yes, that's professional caster insight there. Like and subscribe. But now he must face the army off the creep. He has to find a way to actually engage, and he doesn't have any infestors. Clem is about to hit 3-3. The lurkers are slicing through, eviscerating the conventional bio, but he's dropping on top. Widow Mines will take a big bite out of the Zerglings, and 3-3 is now done. Clem is up to an upgrade advantage. He cleans up the lurkers out of Solar. Knocking out the changeling. Solar now finally finds an opportunity to expand. The Vipers looking for an opportunity on the medevacs. He needs to get back Overseers here as well. There's the parasitic bombs. Widow Mines, devastating damage to both sides. Parasitic bombs take out several more medevacs. Oh my god, it's so brutal. Widow Mines loaded up. Solar has lost not too many more, only 4,000 more minerals, which is a Zerg miracle. The Widow Mines looking to make that more difficult. Oh no. Well, best you're gonna do. There's more in that medevac. He doesn't know. But this does keep Solar busy for any amount of time. Oh, he's got it on hold position. He's gonna drop out over here. Okay. Well, another army. The Widow Mines dealt with. The front line turned. Morlings and Banes. Solar hurting for minerals, but he has the gas. There is a particular unit that is pretty light on minerals, but heavy on gas. I wonder if Solar is interested in... No infestors yet. Another Nidus is taken out. Clem, though, has lost so much of the map. When once he was knocking on the door of victory, he's now potentially staring down the despairing valley and single-bedroom apartment of defeat. He will take out some more Overseers, who are the true losers throughout this series. God, it's been so painful for the Overseers. He's building even more of them, though. Banelings are all in. The Ghosts will survive. Survival of the fittest, indeed. More Zerglings on the way. Guns down! An entire group of Hydras. The Zerglings aren't going to be too much effort either. Solar has to send a lot to reinforce here. Takes out more Overseers, sees the Banelings, lifts up, actually boosts away back towards his base at the last second, and will get away with that entire group of bio. Another Nidus. The Nidus in the natural! Again! And Solar slices through. The reinforcements here, but the Widow Mine... Ooh, Widow Mine takes a bite. More Overseers, this time dying to turret. Solar supply blocked because he lost too many Overseers. Deja vu. Not again! Another Nidus. There's changelings there. Continually finding it. Well, they keep trying to line up their shots. The ghosts, and keep getting driven back by the lurker spines. Interrupted. But Solar... Oh no, a Viper! Solar has no minerals and he can't max out. He's finally, desperately, building infestors. Three infestors on the way. Inside the Nidus, doesn't matter. Gonna take it out. Clem has 5,000 minerals. Where's the 12 more command centers from? How many orbitals does he have? He has 10. Well... when you have more CCs than a poorly formatted corporate email, then you might be okay to just hold off and bank up. Oh my god, the Widow Mines. Solar, though? Oh, EMP turns it around. High-sec auto trekking and building armor. I'm just now realizing entered production so late. More ghosts are gonna die. The Overseers. He just uncloaks. He just gives up on that idea entirely. Another Overseer hit. He retreats all the way back. Not even bothering building Marines, which is pretty hardcore out of Clem, considering his mineral count. Oh, but another base to the north. While all this was happening, Clem returned fire to the north side. Where are the infestors? Solar is scrambling back. The lurkers gunned down. The ghosts are able to get the shots off. Picks up into the medevacs. He gets out. Oh, but a fungal! And he gets one. Can he get another? He needs those medevacs so badly. And he doesn't get them. Get it? If he got 3 medevacs there, that might have been the army supply he needed. But 5 liberators at a time. Liberation is at hand. Solar has expanded to the... Oh my god. Solar has expanded to the bottom left. Another 20-minute game. The Liberators! A Venn diagram of freedom yet again. Terran through everything underneath. And again, the Bio Army hits the northern base. And we'll take it out. Solar is running out of money. Clem is running out of gas, but he can still build Marines. Zerglings just don't really have that effect. The fungal comes through, but it doesn't hit that. No! He mismicroed the burrow. Burrow, when you meant to fight, is not the ideal choice, and Solar is bleeding out. Clem has money in the bank. There's a fungal, but is it even enough? It helps, but it doesn't help enough. There's a ghost. There are no Overseers left. Well... Solar? Still 8,000 minerals in the bank for Clem. There's still this army with medevacs. He does have Caduceus Reactor. Crazy they both have the exact same amount of upgrades, like in total. Like actual number of upgrades. Not important. Clem! Oh my. It really looked like Clem would just power through, but Solar again holds in an exhausting game. But he's just not quite able to turn it around. Clem built up too much of an advantage to be overturned. And that brings us in one of the most dramatic, exhausting, excruciating series I have ever seen. To Game 5. Oh my. I thought these two would go back and forth, but... This is certainly something else. Jimmy, please. Game 5. Alkion. In another map. Thankfully, we don't have Red Set Station. Another map where it could easily be a half map late game. Like, I think I've said everything there is to say at this point. My voice is at risk. It has been... It's like watching just like a Michael Bay movie. Just constant explosions. You have no idea how we got here, but every time there's just more explosions. Just more explosions. Mechs just exploding everywhere. Aliens exploding. Guns and airships and, you know, explosions. I do feel we need a good old... Like, it's game 5. In both players, no cheese, no early game, no proxy racks, no pool first. They're both. That last game was the biggest switch up with Clem going for the Reapers. But at the same time, even that, just the Reaper opener, very macro opener. He shifted it up a little bit. He's varied, like Liberator or Banshee, but neither player thinks their best opportunity is relying on the early game, but instead surviving to the late. And they're both right, I think. They're both clearly proficient in that multi-prong later game. Like, you don't want to put it all on whether or not you get scouted at the wrong time when you have the multitasking of both these players. I don't blame them. But, oof. Honestly, I just can't believe Solar didn't die. That was one of those games that Clem closes out 9 times out of 10. But he just couldn't finish it. I think I'll use a little bit of this time to how do I say this? To prudently and diplomatically say, whenever I see people complain about Zerg when we watch Cyril, Solar is the 3rd best Zerg in the world. He is playing incredible. This is some of the best macro Zerg out there. Just in general, of all time. But only Cyril makes those infestors. Like, the amount of times we've nerfed a Zerg for Cyril. Ugh. Maybe Solar just needs to build it. It's not that easy. It's never that easy. It never has been. But, oh my god. Hello? Hello? Whoa, 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 whoa! Why are there Hellions in the base killing drones? What year is this? What's going on? I'm sorry, I was complaining about YouTube commenters and now you're just lighting everything on fire. Oh, he's just losing drones. No. This is... no. Oh, that is way too much damage. For 3 no. He just didn't have lings. What a time... That is just a mistake out of Solar. Well, I was talking, but that's not what I meant. But here we are. That was an unforced... oh my god. Well, this is a dick move. But an unforced error there. Clem, yeah, he gambled with the Hellions, but you... getting really any drones with 3 Hellions and a Reaper running by is not something that should be happening. And that's something that can easily spiral out of control. This was no commitment at all from Clem, so any damage is great. These are units that he will trade away for drones in an instant if he gets it like that. Thank God, that Liberator. So much mining time lost, the Hellions pushed away. Solar bounced back from a rough situation in the previous game. And every game has looked like a rough situation at one point or another. So add it to the list. But this time around, Solar is going to be significantly behind on upgrades. He does not have a worker advantage. And in fact, Clem zoned him out of getting a 4th hatchery, which also really hurts. As when you're going for Ling Bane, very larva intensive. I think it would have worked too. He's not He scans, sees the double upgrades. He's gonna see the Baneling Nest timing. And if that isn't an inspiration for an attack, I don't know what is. That Baneling Nest. Clem will have Stim, Combat Shield, and Medevacs done by the time the Baneling Nest is completed. Forget about Baneling speed. Forget about Banelings themselves. This could be a disaster for Solar. He's building Zerglings now. But, oh no, Brenda, no! Oh, loses 3 queens right off the bat. The Widowmines are burrowed. Clem moved out so quick because he knew there was no Baneling Nest. It's like, I need to get the damage done immediately. And indeed, he starts with killing off 3 queens. Liberator on the right. Clem's up 15 supply here. Baneling speed started. Did he forget Combat Shield? Yes, and he just noticed too. He didn't start Combat Shield after Stim, so a bit of a saving grace here for Solar. As with Combat Shield and 1-1, those Marines, you essentially, speed banes are required. But without that extra 10 HP, they are very vulnerable still. Alright, the Queen's the spread. It's so good, I can't believe it's not butter. The Marines, they don't need their shields if they don't get hit. Hellbat softening up so many of the Zerglings, but the Banelings, Widowmine, hit both sides! Mutually assured destruction. And Solar holds on with the help of the Widowmines there. He's got Hydras on the way. Again, working his way forward. The Zerglings will wrap around. And yeah, he's forced to pull back into the natural, dropping on top. The Widowmines will burrow in a precarious position. Gonna get a Hydra. The Spore Crawler will help with detection, but minimize the damage pretty well. Clem is up 40 supply. But the upgrades are catching up for Solar. I can't believe I'm saying it, but he's been in this situation before. And I don't think there's a player better suited to dragging it back. Clem is keeping the pressure on, keeping the knife to his throat, keeping the grenade with the pin pulled. Actually, a bunch of grenades all burrowed throughout the map. Heat-seeking missiles, really, but... oh, that's a lot of Marines! And he guns down the Queens. The Hydras behind are not enough. The Widowmines splash across the board. The Banelings will roll in, and they're on the creep. He turns around the moment he's off of it. And again, the Banelings just don't have enough HP. Infestation Pit is done. Clem, he's keeping it together. He's got a Widowmine. He's got Widowmines unburrowed. He's in the main. He's in the 4th. He's hitting the 3rd. He's in all 4 bases. Solar is bleeding out of every single base. And it's just too much. I think he's done it. Clem has powered his way through. Look at the mini-map. Clem. After 5 games, the most exhausting, epic, dramatic, heartbreaking, brutal series I have ever... I would be hard... I don't think there's been best of 7s or best of 9s with more units lost than that. That was ridiculous. That was madness. And that was StarCraft 2. An absolutely brutal slugfest. But Clem survives it. He comes out. It's not about who wins. It's about who's left. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope I made your day a little bit better. Congratulations to Clem. Got the means of motivation. Be awesome to check out Patreon for my voice recovery. And I hear liking and subscribing is still free for now. And checking out Recommended would be awesome. Second channel for more content, streams, other games, if you have any interest. It would be awesome to check it out. Otherwise, Good luck. Have fun. I'll see you next time. Stay chill.